Good morning, good evening, good night. Anytime that you are watching, you are with the Pinkprint podcast. I am your host, Siri.
And I am Vicky Vixen.
And we have a special guest today with us, guys. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name's Dominic.
And what do you do, Dom?
I'm a consultant, business owner, content creator.
Many things.
And many things.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur. You get into the bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, guys, it's been a while. Did you miss us?
Of course they did.
I missed you guys. So, last episode, what did we do? Environment? No, we did
This is education.
We did interest.
Interest.
We done interest and hobbies with Nanda. Thank you, Nanda, for passing through and spilling some tea on the interest and hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode, we're going to be going into education. And we're not going to be talking about the conventional education where it's like you go, you get your degree and so on and so on. We're going to be talking about transferable skills because we're in a evolving world.
Mm-hmm.
The world is changing rapidly. AI has been introduced and there's many people out there with qualifications and just don't know what to do with them. Or you're just in a dead-end job that, you know, cost of living is rising and your job is not paying the bills.
Change.
So how can you pivot? And this is why we have brought this episode to you today with the lovely Dominic.
Nice.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
you
you.
for coming.
So we're going to play a game because
Cool,
that's
go
how we
for
like
it.
to start. But
Go
before
for
we
it.
get into the game, we want to shout out to our sponsors. So we've got the beautiful Bougie Nails who can't be with us today, but you know, she's with us in spirit. And we've also got House of Gems. Make sure you go and grab your toys, guys. Make sure you grab your bits. And we've got our new sponsor today.
HL Vodka. Thank you so much for dedicating and donating all these items and stuff. We will have a lovely 15% off code, which will be the Pinkprint. You're going to be able to see it below. And it's hl-vodka.com.
So make sure you check it out, guys. The code goes live tomorrow.
Yes.
You can get your 15% off. And we've got, what flavors we got here? We've got mango and passion fruit. What's that one by you?
Strawberry.
Yeah.
Strawberry. Do you want to have a, should we all have a little taste?
Yeah, go
I
for it.
haven't actually tasted it yet.
Mm.
This is beautiful.
It's really
It's
nice,
nice.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a little cocktail.
Ooh,
Mhm.
on a weekday, boy.
Yeah. On a weekday. All right. So before we get into talking a bit about you, Dominic, we just want to play a little transfer or nah. That's what the game's called.
Transfer or not?
So transferable or nah. So
Okay.
I'm going to throw out some skills and experiences at you.
Cool.
Tell me if they're actually transferable to corporate or nah, leave it in school.
Okay, cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So writing essays, transferable or nah.
Transferable. Absolutely.
Group presentations, transferable or nah.
Yeah, transferable.
Flirting to get that attention, transferable or nah.
What?
Transferable. Absolutely. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
For real?
Do you know what? Stop.
Charisma.
Hey,
Mm.
sometimes.
Well. Well.
And
Debate.
persuasion. Yeah, persuasion as well. Yeah.
Persuasion, you hear that, guys?
Yeah.
So if you're a big flirt, just put persuasion on the CV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do a little bit more, but
Yeah,
use that as well.
That's one of your key skills.
Yeah. For sales roles, it'll be handy.
Very true.
Oh yes, very true. You know,
yeah. That's true.
because if you've got a bit of charisma and you
100%.
approach me, I'm probably gonna sign up or I'm gonna
Nikki's-
donate
Nikki's
or
a sales
yeah.
person. Definitely got
Yeah,
charisma.
so, yeah,
100%. Yeah.
All right,
true.
debate. Did I do debating? Debating.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. Deadline extensions.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Raising your hand to speak.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
You be in teams like.
Yeah.
Hi.
Transferable.
I hate those people that don't raise their hand, just want to be
Just
like
talk.
jumping in on the conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, there's one,
a
2, 3.
procedure to
Yeah,
this.
just put your hand up.
Hello.
Mm.
Snitching on someone to cover yourself.
Ooh.
We don't like snitches,
We don't.
but we need to see if this is transferable or not. Could you turn that negative
As in,
skill?
can it be a skill?
Can you transfer it into the corporate world or any job, in fact?
You can't, but there's many people in corporate.
This-
Yeah, the people
This
that
is
they
it.
do it, you're not
This
really
is it.
supposed to, but they do.
Yeah, they CC you in emails and
Yeah,
CC
yeah,
in
Right,
managers.
there you go.
'cause they're
As
trying
per my
to-
last email.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is it.
yeah.
And then the world is just CC'd in. Like,
Yeah.
was
What
that
happened?
necessary?
It's
This,
a
is,
rape.
this is an A and B
Yeah,
conversation.
Yeah, it's
like,
it's an online drape.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Listen, it
Like
gets silly.
passive aggressive.
Yeah,
It gets
100%.
very silly.
Yeah.
And PE warm-ups.
What? Sorry?
PE warm-ups.
Yeah,
As in-
yeah. Physical education warm-ups.
No.
Transferable or no?
I guess for some professions, yeah. If you're like a personal trainer and you're providing, training or strength training to corporate clients or to your own clientele, then yeah, guess so.
Okay.
I've used PE warm ups ish in a corporate setting as an icebreaker.
Icebreaker.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
used it as an
Yeah.
icebreaker. Get everybody up after lunch, and everyone's a bit sluggish after lunch.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah, get everybody up doing some
Yeah.
activities, because I think some people's icebreakers are dry.
True.
Definitely.
Just like chat to the AI who will give you suggestions.
This is it. But do you know what I like about that? Those are skills that you would have initially thought when you read it out that they couldn't be. But the fact that you said that and then given reasons kind of for it is actually really good, because then people watching it could be like, oh yeah.
And that's the whole point, is there's so many
Yes.
skills that people have, and it's just like knowing how to use that in the corporate world or in a different field. How do you transfer that skill over?
Absolutely.
Which brings us nicely into our episode.
Cool.
So
Let's get into it.
give us a bit of a background on yourself. So how did you get into the career you're in right now?
Yeah, sure. So my background is essentially in legal services. Started my career at Channel 5, working in the legal team. So supported contracts for Big Brother, contractual negotiations and relicense agreements for TV shows like CSI, Cowboy Builders, a bunch of different shows that were, hosted on Channel 5 platform. And then started a consulting career at Accenture, and about a year after my career began in legal services. So it's a while back now. This is 2013. And then started as a management consultant, and then spent some time at Accenture in different teams, project management, contract commercial management. And then after a few years, started consulting. You all know I consult. I still consult to this day. So go into businesses, provide trusted advisory services on procurement matters, project management matters, contract and commercial. So managing large IT outsourcing contracts once they've been awarded. So that's pretty much how I've grown my career. And then a few years ago started to create content mainly about careers, how to get ahead in corporate, personal finance, financial literacy, and that started to take off. It's led to about 100,000 followers across TikTok and Instagram.
Well done.
Some videos attract 2 million views, 3 million views. It's led to me working with large corporate brands, Finimize, Open University, Greenwich University, and now we have a careers platform and a HR tech software as a service system, which is all about skills-based hiring, allowing individuals to apply for jobs with their skills and skills assessments, as opposed to just sending over a CV.
Yeah.
So that's been really good. That's growing. We were at the Financial Times on the 16th of April.
I saw.
That was really good.
Fantastic
That's like
turnout as well.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Packed
thank
house.
you. Yeah. So that's one of our customers. We're negotiating many other customers. We're working with other brands, small and large corporates, on helping them with like inclusive strategies on hiring. So yeah.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah.
high level.
You're doing a lot. Well,
thank you.
give me your
Some
flowers.
plates, yeah. You're doing very well.
So yeah, so
Amazing.
that's me. But yeah.
So, what's your education? What's your education background? Like, what did
I
you
was just about to
study,
ask that.
and how did it help you pivot, or did it help you pivot?
Yeah, so I grew up between the UK and Jamaica. So at 6 years old, my family, we all moved to Montego Bay. So my
From
primary
England, sorry.
Yeah, from England.
Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up in South London, went to St. Anthony's Primary School, and then when I was 6, we moved to Montego Bay. Me, family, entire family, well, mum, sister, etc. And my mum's husband at the time. And then I studied at a school in Montego Bay called Hemingway Prep, and that was just typical, schooling in Jamaica. A range of subjects: maths, English, geography, history, Spanish, etc. I think in the UK you guys do like German or French or
And
something
Spanish.
like that.
I did
And
Spanish.
Spanish as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
Spanish, yeah.
Spanish,
Mine's
yeah.
doing Spanish.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
We could
Right.
choose.
You could choose. All right. Cool. I didn't know that. Then took the CXCs, which is similar to GCSE.
GCSEs,
Yeah.
yeah.
So took CXCs and then went to an all-boys school called Cornwall College.
I know that.
So CC, so Men of
Yeah.
Might.
Yeah.
And then went to Montego Bay Community College, and then decided at 18, didn't really want to, but family said, mainly my mom was a strong influence behind it. She was like, you're British, you might as well go back and do a degree, as opposed to paying for a degree in Jamaica, I should say, and going to Kingston
University,
like UE or UTech. So 2007, I moved back to South London, and then studied law at Greenwich University, and then
how did you find studying law?
Tough. It was tough.
My
Yeah,
sister did it. She said it was really hard.
it wasn't easy. It voluminous, a lot of content, a lot of information to read, and it was slightly challenging to navigate because I already knew, for example, I didn't want to do criminal defense law, but he still had to learn it. Still had to learn the theory behind medical law. Once again, no interest.
No interest. Yeah.
The only area of law I was interested in really was intellectual property. So managing trademarks, patent, that sort of thing. So didn't have much interest in a lot of subjects, but still had to learn wills and probate, which comes in handy in the future, but with a high degree of confidence. Like, I remember just hating a lot of time spent in my first year, and But anyway, always knew that.
Anyway, he's looking over like, oh my goodness,
can't believe I went through that.
But university teaches you discipline.
It does. It really is. It's good. It's so amazing.
Some friends. Some of my friends have gone on to do great things. Some are consultants. Some are partners in law firms. Some are consultants. Some have their own startups. Okay. Some have gone and done other things as well. But it was a good experience. Looking back, I'm not gonna make it sound
when you're
all
there,
bad,
but it was worth it because
it
it put you in the direction that you
went in,
and now look at you now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So since that journey of leaving university to where you are now, have you done any other further education or any skills that you want to?
Yeah, sure. So I actually did a legal practice course as well, because I'd planned to go and be a solicitor, and that was a plan. That was in 2011. And then I said, okay, I'll do this, and then I'll go back to Jamaica. At that age, I mean, I didn't really like UK. I moved to the UK. Everyone was listening to Funky House and Tribal Skank and all of this stuff, and I was listening to Movado versus Cartel.
Of course.
So for me, I'm like, why am I in a club and the guys are doing head, shoulders, knees, and toes? I was like, I don't want to be here. And I just felt out of place. So, but I said, I'll do the LPC and then I'll go back. But then what happened was I was actually offered a training contract at a criminal law firm. And I turned it down. Because the salary was about 24k and I got offered 36k working in a commercial environment in Fenchurch Street. And I just thought, okay, what is the career trajectory of a criminal defense solicitor? It's slightly different from a barrister. Eventually, if you're a barrister, you probably start as a barrister at 14k, roughly, if that. And then you could progress into six figures, but you're self-employed as a barrister. As a solicitor, the trajectory of a criminal defense solicitor didn't look that great. So when I looked at the numbers and I thought, okay, 5-10 years in commercial law, where could I end up and what could I pivot into? There was more upside potential. So I said, some people would say you could play the long game, but I just said I'd rather play the long game in commercial and in a business environment, as opposed to going working for a high street law firm. It was high street law firm or working at Accenture. And I mean, Accenture, KPMG, Deloitte,
exactly,
Bain and Co. These large consultancy firms, they pay well, They give bonuses.
They're amazing on
Yeah.
your CV.
They're amazing on your CV. So
It
I
makes sense.
took that option, and I have no regrets actually.
Mm.
So you
done.
actually looked at what makes more sense and went for the path that was going to actually you was going to
Yeah.
pivot. So it wasn't just I'm having interest in this area of work. I'm going to move into this, but you've actually planned it out. Said this is where I can make more money in the future.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what people are not doing is the
100%.
planning.
Yeah.
They're just crossing over.
And looking at the bigger picture as well, I think.
Yeah. No, it was also the interest as well. So as I said, I wasn't really interested in criminal defense law. If I had to do criminal law in any capacity, it probably would be actions against the police.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty,
Mhm.
right? It wouldn't be. Yeah. So I had no interest in that. And then Accenture was business, working on the Royal Mail Enterprise Intelligent Barcode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how helping the Royal Mail with their technology solutions. And I thought, oh, I'd rather do this than
Of course. It
go
sounds
to
so much more interesting
Crown
as well.
Court and sit behind a barrister and take notes and, you know, organize court documents. I was like, I don't want to do this.
No.
I'd rather do business, commercial type work. So it was an easy decision.
Yeah.
And
It made sense.
the legal practice course, it did help me because I learned how to draft contracts, negotiate contracts, mark up, you know, liability provisions, indemnity provisions, and it made me a real, you know, rounded commercial person.
Mm-hmm.
And decided to go down the path of commercial and business law.
good.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt a bit of imposter syndrome at all?
Yeah, I have.
How have you dealt with it? Especially in the earlier years before you were more experienced.
Yeah, good question. So it's funny because you only get confident by doing, and then what I would say is invest in your reps. So very similar to in the gym, the more you know learn a technique or the more you train, you get more confident using either the equipment or knowing that you actually know the process and the fundamentals to know a certain movement, and then also show someone who might come with you on a guest pass as an example.
Yeah.
With work, it's very similar. So in the early days, for example, if I had to organize let's just say obligations and deliverables tracker or draft the NDA, I didn't know what I was doing. But once I got the right guidance from the right people around me, what happened was it was a victory, a small win. So by the time I had to do it again, I thought, well, I've done it already and I've learnt my lessons from the past. So there's lessons learned. I know what to do moving forward. So what I'd say is you have to do your reps and be consistent. So you have the confidence within yourself to know that you know what you have to do, right? You understand the framework. And then also your lessons learned will give you the confidence, which you can carry forward at the next time you have to do the task.
You'll feel more confident.
Yeah.
So it's really putting yourself out there. You know, you have to test the waters. You have to keep going. And as you said, do your reps.
Yeah.
Keep training.
Yeah. But, you know, I've had to negotiate against lawyers who are Magic Circle partners, senior associates who, you know, work for these big firms, you know, Baker and McKenzie, Freshfields. And you're like, whoa, you know, I'm negotiating against a solicitor on the other side, and I'm not a solicitor. I'm a contract commercial manager, or I'm a procurement manager, and I'm marking up what they've suggested and negotiating with them. So at first, yes, you are, you know, naturally you feel like you're on the back foot because you're going up against someone who works for a private practice. But as I said, after repeated exercise and reps doing the same work, you get confident.
And you know you belong there.
And you know you belong there.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you.
No worries.
So we're going to put you through the Pinkprint experience
All
quickly.
Right. Cool.
So do you know about the Pinkprint experience?
A little bit.
What do you know about the Pinkprint experience?
Well, if it's anything to do with your book, it's going to cover a whole range of different things from your mindset, law of attraction, touching on money as well, some of your habits.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Am I right?
Don't be paying attention.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
I love it.
Cool.
All right. So that's your copy for you.
All right. Cool.
All right. So the Pinkprint is about looking at eight different areas of your life and scoring them.
Yeah.
And your score, it says 5 on the page, but we're doing it out of 10.
Cool.
And your score is based on where you feel needs urgent attention. So
Yeah.
you know, everybody's going through life, as we speak about all the time, and you're doing you're doing these things. You're
Yeah.
working on your health and wellness. You're working on your finances. Not everybody, but most, some people, they navigate through life quite well, navigating through these 8 chapters. But imagine if you actually sat down and focused on each of these chapters and set goals in these areas, and that's the purpose of the Pinkprint. So now I'm going to ask you to score yourself out of 10 in each of these areas.
Okay.
And where you score yourself
me, sorry.
the highest, I want you to give us a little bit of a reason why. And where you score yourself the lowest, I want the same. Why you scored yourself the lowest and the reason why. So I'll just read out the chapters for the sake of the public.
Okay.
So we've got health and well-being, we've got finances, we've got your career, your spiritual connection, relationships. When relationships is split into 4. So we've got your friends, we've got your family, you've got your romantic partner and your work colleagues. They're 4 different relationships. Then we've got your experience and interest, your education and your environment. So we'll give you a minute, take your time.
Could you elaborate on environment?
Everybody says this. So it's a very good question. So environment is chapter 8 because it kind of brings everything together. Because if you're in the wrong environment work-wise, it would have an impact on you. If you're around the wrong people, it will have an impact on you. If your house is cluttered, it will have an impact on your mental health. If you are, if you're around family members or not doing the right things in terms of hobbies and interests, some people's got some negative hobbies and interests. So it's about creating that positive environment in all those areas to progress.
Cool. All right. So do you want me to?
Yeah, just when you're ready.
So, health and well-being, I would say right now, I'd say there's always room for improvement. I'd say 9.
100%.
I'd say 9.
That's nice and strong.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my own rituals and morning ritual and stuff. Not as intense as that guy's blown up the
Ashton
internet.
Hall. I'm an Ashton Hall fan.
No, I'm not up at 3:40 a.m. But I'm consistent in the gym in terms of well-being. I meditate, I journal, and So
Fantastic.
I feel healthy.
Very
I drink a
healthy
lot of water. You guys saw me coming with my
with your bottle.
second bottle for the day. So finances. I mean, I don't know how this is graded. But if it's like covers things like credit score and savings. Yeah, I mean,
discipline.
I'm comfortable where I'm at. So once again, 8. But of course,
Beautiful.
natural human. I want more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
there's always a new goal.
There's
You
new
want more
goals.
money. You want another property. You want to. There's always a new goal.
So career. I would say probably 8, and the reason behind that is because I'm a consultant, but I'm building my own HR tech business, and that's gonna require a lot of work. From a community perspective, we've got tons of people reading our newsletter, the Career Guard. Go check that out. We have tons of people interested and on our demo wait list, but we need to work on building employer interest as well. So that's going to require a lot of work. Spiritual connection. I'll say 7. I could definitely invest more time in my own feelings, going to church more, being around fellow Christians. So probably 7. Relationships. I would say. So this spans across romantic friendships,
colleagues,
family.
Yeah, so I would say probably 7 again. The reason why it's about the balancing act.
Yes.
Of making sure that you're spending quality time with your missus, in my case, my wife, but then investing time with your friends, and then sometimes something has to give. It's like,
definitely.
I can't spend time with the boys because this Saturday I promised date night, or I'm supposed to go out with my work friends after work, but I have to rush home to deal with family. So something always has its give and take. So
balance.
Experiences and interest. I have a range of hobbies. I ride a motorbike, I play a bit of tennis, bit of golf. I love to travel. So this I'd say probably 9. Probably have too much fun.
You work hard enough.
Yeah,
work
no,
hard, play hard.
work
yeah,
hard, play hard, it's good.
I have too much fun. I need to tone that down.
No.
Education. There's always room for improvement,
Yes.
especially in a world that's always changing, especially in technology right now, and the environment I'm constantly, educating myself and upskilling. So I'd say 7. Environment, I'd say 10. I keep negative people at arm's length.
Good.
I don't burn bridges, but I will just long things off and be like,
Yeah.
you over there,
It's the
sir,
best
me
way.
over there,
Yeah,
sir."
amen.
Yeah, that's right.
But sometimes, unfortunately, there are instances where you can't avoid certain
Yeah,
individuals.
course.
So you're like, I have to tolerate you.
Yeah.
But it's like, you
But
have
not too
But
much.
you just
too often.
reduce the
you reduce
contact.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You
but
manage
in
it.
terms
Fair
of
enough.
environment, probably like 9. As I'm getting older, I just keep myself to myself as well. Environment 9. Yeah.
That was some seriously strong scores.
Good.
Like
Proper high.
seriously strong.
That's
So
good.
I got you as a 7 for spiritual connection, relationships, and I think you gave education a 7 as well.
Yeah.
So out of those 3, if you were to set a goal for all 3 of them,
Yeah.
what would it be to bring them up to say an 8?
Oh, good question. So in terms of goal, it would be more about like actionable tasks that I could do. So for spiritual connection, as an example, I can invest more time like reading my Bible or going to church. And that could just be something as simple as setting up a reminder in my phone to say at least go, on a frequency schedule of once a month or once every week, as an example.
Yeah.
So that's something I can do.
But are you setting that goal?
Yeah, so actually, I have set that goal. No,
Yeah.
I have set that goal. So that's actually my cat. I'll show you
All
after.
right, beautiful.
I'll show you.
Like I got that. I got
No.
So it's like,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I've actually done that recently.
Okay.
That's
Um,
good.
Yeah, in terms of education, I'm doing 1 book a month. A book actually came today. I bought a book called Traction. Last month I read The Jewish Phenomenon. So every month,
what are the books,
How was that
what are their
one?
books based on?
yeah. So I read The Jewish Phenomenon because I really respect Jews and how they've
Work
just
ethic,
navigated
yeah.
life from business to career progression.
Yes.
And then Traction is about building a startup business and some of the key frameworks you need, especially if you're scaling a business. Now, we all know it takes 10 years to become an overnight success, and a lot of businesses also fail.
Yeah.
So I bought Traction because now I'm pitching VC, venture capitalists and angel investors. The main thing they want to know is, tell me about your team and your traction today. So I have to be like name dropping. These are my customers. This is how much money we've made. This is what our solution does. These are so I'm investing in education and
And that's a perfect example of what this whole episode is about.
Yeah.
Do you see how you're educating yourself in a different way?
in a different field. Yeah.
Exactly. And just making sure if you're going into a field, get the knowledge, do the
what
reading,
you're
network
doing.
with the people.
Yeah, exactly. So my goals, for example, from an education perspective, they're not to do consultancy because I know as a contractor, like my ceiling, like 500 to 750 a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So I know where I'm at with that. So it's like, okay, it's not going to get more juicier than that, which is still very good.
Yeah,
And you can
of
do
course.
2 of them, you can do 3 of them. There's all things you can do. Save that for another day. But I know where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get other contracts where you're direct and you can maybe make $1,000 a day. So in my field, I know where I'm at. However, for a project I'm very passionate about, which is the Career Guard and our HR tech solution on skills-based hiring, it's software. So I now need to educate myself on AI, Golang, JavaScript, React. I've got to educate myself on how a front end and a back end work together.
Yeah.
API, open API, all these things that were beyond me a month ago, but now I can speak about them confidently and how different software languages speak together because
Beautiful.
I'm working with a team that is got a lot of experience in that field. So I'm educating myself on things that are directly linked to what I'm doing or trying to achieve. So in terms of goals, because I digressed a bit,
No, it's fantastic.
every month a book. Number 2, I spend time going to networking events in technology. And I'm networking with HR professionals literally like every week. I was at an event today at London Excel. So
yeah.
London
Excel is good. But where do you pick up these events? Because we've been going
don't
to
know,
a few,
they
but
keep
it's like
coming through on
suddenly
my
someone will
email.
just send it and then we'll just go. But where's the bulletins? Like, where can we find all these events?
Yeah, like these is what's happening, and then go to it.
LinkedIn's pretty useful.
Oh, really? That's where I saw the one we went to last year.
The Women in Tech.
Women in Tech. That was on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And that's
we
we ended up going to that.
There
We
you
enjoyed
go.
that. It was really good.
And
So
then
get
when
on
you go
LinkedIn,
to
guys.
one, you'll meet someone and say, "Oh, have you heard of this event?"
Plenty of people.
Because there was another one we were meant to go to as well.
Following and everyone's quite supportive at these
it's
events.
very good.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
So just high level goals are 1 book a month, attend 2 networking events a month, and meet with my team once a week. Make sure that we've got key processes and frameworks.
Excellent.
You know, from how many leads are we acquiring a week, how many outbound calls, how many DMs. So like really clear systems in place to support my career goals. And I think that was it. Or did I miss anything?
I think the last one was relationships, but you did kind of explain again. It's just a juggle. It's never going to be
the juggle.
perfect.
Yeah. It's I don't think it'll ever be 10-10.
Yeah.
Because you know you didn't respond to a WhatsApp quick enough, but no one's seeing that. I've got 20 unread messages and I've got 3 emails right now that I know I need to respond to. And then I've got other things which in my head I've already prioritized and think as, well, that's revenue generating. This isn't. Yes. And unfortunately, at times you just prioritize things that are more important at that period in time. Yeah. So like something could be revenue generating and I want to respond now. But if your child falls down, all of a sudden the revenue generator isn't important. Of course. It's your family and health. Yeah. So it's not you know, trying to be a bad friend at times, but sometimes
life takes
the pendulum.
And I think it's just about a bit of understanding when it comes to relationships. But most relationships are broken down from lack of understanding and communication.
Exactly.
And we have to just respect each other's time. What people are doing. Communication is key.
So that's what I do. I will tell my friends, how urgent is this? Can I get back to you? Can I get back to you in a couple of days? Because I'm prioritizing this at the moment. And then usually it's cool, or no, I really need support on this right now. You know,
then I'm gonna have to get some time.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because we spoke about this when I was doing the coaching calls, the red, amber, green, like you're and your priorities. Because some people get very overwhelmed, even with the whole reason for the book and the whole reason of doing the scores is that you don't feel overwhelmed when you're setting goals in 8 different areas. It can become overwhelming if it's something that's new to you, or you're feeling that you're scoring yourself quite low. Yeah. But if you have a starting point,
this is it.
Then you just prioritize the areas that need the most.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I use something called it's called Eisenhower Tower Matrix. Yeah, no. You know it. You're a project manager, so you know. So you prioritize accordingly. So I do that. It sounds a bit boring. Sounds meticulous.
It works.
Sounds nerdy.
It works.
But
believe me,
sometimes you have to do these things.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of the time, if you want to achieve your goals and do things adequately, you need to set that out.
Yeah.
You do. Especially if you're spinning a lot of plates and you're doing a lot of different things.
You have to.
You definitely.
You have to. And most of us can do it. Like all of us train and stuff. You got some people who have like, I have to have my 2 liters of water a day. I have to have this amount of protein, this amount of carbs.
When I'm counting macros,
I have to do this exercise. So if you can do that, as an example, in the gym, you can do that for your life.
Yeah.
You know,
and if you can do it when you're being paid by other people, you can do it for your life as well.
It's the same stuff.
And this is why we say, again, you gave some brilliant examples, but for someone who is struggling, I would say, you've scored yourself, say, a 10.
Yeah.
Why are you scoring yourself 10 in that area? How could you apply some of those transferable skills to that area where you're not doing so great, and glow that area up a bit?
Definitely.
So that's the Pinkprint experience. I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Your scores were good.
Yeah, excellent.
Very good scores.
Very good scores. You do
some of them are right.
All right, so we've got a few questions. We're going to start with Vicky's. So these are some of the questions that we put out to the public, just to get their point of view as well. I'll do some feedback on this one we didn't actually get out to the public. This one you're about to do. But this is a beautiful question.
This is such a good question as well.
And I think it's something that we need for our culture. And really I think you will be able to shed some light on it in terms of what would be.
Okay. So my question to you is, and it would have been to the public, we didn't get it out. And you guys feel welcome to write in the comments. If you could build a school for the culture, What's the first subject on the syllabus? What's missing that we really, really need?
The first subject
Mm,
would be personal finance and investing.
100%.
Yeah,
I completely
that would be
agree.
the first subject.
What? Why do you think that's needed for our culture?
Well, number one, it's not taught in schools.
Mhm.
Number two, there's tons of data out there right now, such as there's a new report called Lost Boy Report. I won't go into all the detail of it, but it talks about the amount of, for example, this is just boys alone. I'll touch
Black
on
boys
women
or
as well.
boys?
Boys, right?
Okay.
But I'll go into a bit more detail about
Yes, please.
black and ethnic minorities,
Yes.
right? It's a good read. I'll say check out Lost Boy Reports. You can Google it,
I'm
right?
definitely gonna look
Yeah,
that
I'm
up.
gonna look that up
Social, just
tonight.
type in Lost Boys Report social justice, right? So the data out there right now talks about the amount of boys that are not in school, education, training, as an example. Then there's other reports out there called NEAT, and there's new government initiatives like movements to work. Right. Once again, I read too much data, but the data basically shows that in the black household as well, and for what I'd say those from low socio-economical backgrounds, some of it is reasons to do with things that we all know. So like not coming from a two-parent household and single parent, right? But the data out there is essentially showing that black people, and once again, this can be dissected into Africans or Caribbeans. We can go into a lot of detail, but high level, we need a lot of support from a personal finance perspective and an investing perspective as well. So I won't go into all of the detail, but what I would say is I think number one, it would be personal finance and investing. And that's for boys and girls, right?
Yeah.
Not just boys. Yeah, that would be my.
I totally agree, because I feel like
I feel that would be mine.
even
as well.
when you
I'll choose
think
that.
some people they cut through, they bought their homes and so on, but there's a lot of people who came uneducated. Finance was never a thing that was spoken about. People made up their own schemes, from partner, and we've spoken about some of the things that people's done to buy their properties many years ago and get themselves, but it doesn't mean that they're financially literate. They just managed to get themselves in a position. Some people educated themselves along the way. But again, do you feel like our education system has been built, the education system has been built for black people?
Good question. What do you mean for black people?
In terms of the way that black people learn, do you feel we learn differently from other cultures?
I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's more about individuals. Like it'd be hard to say all black people have one learning style. Some people are, more of a type of learner where it's you have to learn by doing. Some people have good like photogenic memory, so they remember things once they've seen it. Some people learn, by audio better. So it's hard to say, you know, the education system or the curriculum isn't designed for black people. It's pretty hard to say because we have to now look at those who are neurodiverse, those who are coming from different educational backgrounds. It really varies. But what I'd say is, I think the key element of your question is you have to do what works for you. And I think schools and education institutions need to take more time out to determine what will help different type of learners. I think that's the main thing. And you don't necessarily get that in standard state school. Maybe in a grammar school, in a private school, you're more than likely going to get more tailored educational training. And that's mainly because you pay for it. 100%. You send someone to private school, it's a smaller classroom, there's different type of activities, and the reason why is they understand that different learning styles are going to help people absorb information.
Yeah. And you do learn more, because I went to private school for the last 2 years of my primary school education, and I was in all the top sets after that. And
In high
literally
school?
in high school, it helped
Yeah.
me. And the only reason why I didn't do as well as I could have done even better, but I like to chat too much when I was in class. Other than that, I would have been perfect. And what my mum did, she invested. So even though she didn't send my brother and sister to private school, she sent them to Saturday school. Every God Saturday, they went to Saturday school.
Oh, wow.
Like our Asian counterparts. So I do agree with what you're saying as well, that the education system needs to do that. But I also think parents need to invest in their children's education.
That as well.
So even if you can't afford to send your child to private school, there's Kumon, there's after school clubs, there's certain things you can do, because no one's not saying as a parent you automatically got the education to help your child. You try your best, right? But I think being able to, instead of always putting them in the best clothes, put them in good clothes, but then maybe use some of that money, if there's not enough, for their education, because it pays dividends. I personally, and people might want to come for me for that, but I personally believe that if you invest in your children's education, you are fueling them and stealing them for a better future,
Absolutely.
to stand stronger in the workplace later on in life.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I'm a
think-
product
yeah.
of that. I've seen that with my brother and sisters, and I've seen that with people around me, and all the other cultures are doing it.
Yeah, look, education will always pay the biggest dividend. You can't take it from
100%,
someone.
100%.
I think parents do
agree,
play a critical role in your education. If you've got a parent that's got, work 2 jobs, or they're not able to be present, they can't put you in those extra activities or pay for certain. If you're struggling, say you're struggling in maths, you tell your mum, she doesn't know how to do maths.
Yeah.
She doesn't pay for you to do maths.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah, because the school can only do so much.
You're going to
Yeah,
if
that
the
is one.
time and the effort is not put in there, and you're going to fail maths unless you are a very driven young person who puts yourself out there and does that extra bit of learning.
I think it really does help.
I think it makes a difference.
It really does.
Upbringing
100%.
and your parents' input.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, facts.
It can't just be the school alone. The school just hasn't got enough time, hasn't got the capacity. My sister's a school teacher, high school teacher. There's only so much
They can do, yeah.
they can do. And then if you've got disruptions, then that takes away from everyone else.
Yep.
What about when you go home? Are you making sure your child's doing the homework? If they're struggling, are you putting them through like a tutor or something to make sure, or even if you don't do it for their whole education, towards the last couple of years when they're doing their GCSEs or they're doing exams, try to see if you can find the money together to try to support them to do a couple of lessons to help, because it really makes a difference. Trust me.
I think I'd put advanced communication on the syllabus.
Yeah.
And the reason
important.
being is I feel like communication is a barrier for many people.
Yeah.
Many young people are not voicing themselves, or maybe not voicing themselves appropriately, or they don't know how to voice. So I think communication definitely is something that needs to be added to the syllabus, even though it seems very standard.
No, it's
No,
important.
it's not.
It's not.
It's a great soft skill that
Yeah.
we all need.
Exactly.
Finance
Good
and communication,
knowing
them
how to
two.
communicate, appropriately
Yeah, absolutely.
as well. So
Yeah, I agree.
I think communication would be my one. What would you choose?
I would have chose finance. Remember I was saying
Yeah.
when I was going to do it, I think finance is
Personal
key.
finance.
Because I think that's a big miseducation. Like, even if you do get to go to uni, then they give you this big loan, then they give you an overdraft, then all of a sudden when you finish university, that is due,
Yeah.
and you're like, hello.
Do you know what? I've seen everybody
It is
like,
a madness.
I'm in debt.
Yeah, and you understanding what tax is, what gross is, what net is, what NI is, what your take home pay is versus this.
Exactly.
What navigating life
And if
is.
you're not
APR. What is that? Don't just take the people them $2,000 credit card like I did and blow it. Oh no, I can't know what I buy with that when I was 18.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
That's why I said I'll send you the link to some of these reports, but the data is shown, if you're, especially those who are not in training or education, there's going to be a big gap.
It's mad.
Mm-hmm.
So when they go into the workforce, eventually they're going to be like, what is going on?
It's very overwhelming.
Yeah, they're lost.
If you don't know,
you get your
it's
pay slip
extremely-
and you're like, I don't know what's going on here. And then, the letters start coming through your letterbox. Take a loan, take this.
And you do.
Take
You
a
do.
phone on, a phone, a mobile contract. You don't pay a bill one day, and then all of a sudden you got bad credit score, you got bailiffs at your house. And you're like, what's going on?
What's a default? How long does it last?
Yeah. Credit utilization.
All of this.
Yeah.
All of these things, they're not told.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think, is the system rigged? that's a whole nother show.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
But I think definitely personal finance is a key
Absolutely.
factor, because you can earn so much money and still not understand how to negotiate your finances.
Yeah, how to keep it.
Yeah.
So guys, do drop in the comments. What do you think should be added to the
Mhm.
syllabus and why? What would help?
Definitely.
Cool.
You're gonna do the next one and I'll do the one after.
Yeah. All right. So we put this out to the public. I got quite a lot of responses as well.
Okay.
But can you flip street wisdom into academic source? And if you can, what is the skill? And I thought this was a very good question because let's be fair, we've got a lot of people with a lot of street wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even when I've had conversations, they're just like, yeah, but I just want the break, or they're looking for a breakthrough. They're not actually looking at how can I transfer, or what can I do, or how can I invest, or there's a lot of waiting for breakthroughs to happen. You can't wait for the breakthrough.
You gotta get
You
it.
gotta plan.
You gotta get it.
You gotta do some transferable skills.
Mhm.
We gotta get it cracking. So what do you feel? How do you feel?
Yeah, I do feel like there's skills that you can learn from the street, which will help you in life. I've actually had a few guys reach out to me and tell me probably far too much.
Yeah.
And they've got good jobs now, for example.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there was one guy I can remember who, I'm not gonna go into detail his life, but he's now a project manager. So
Excellent.
he's managing a whole project and managing a team, and making very good money doing that.
Good.
He's a strong delegator.
Transferable skill.
Yep.
Knows how to get the team excited, and focus on the same mission.
So it's motivating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got great charisma.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's time to go for drinks in the evening, even though he actually doesn't even drink, he will still go, and have like a non-alcoholic beverage. He
Good.
tells me this because he DMs me and we talk, and I still give him a little bit of guidance. And then also, he can identify when someone's like telling a lie or like their body language is off. But then he also has great empathy.
Yeah.
Because if someone's ill or sick, we have a lot of I was mentoring him for a while. So
Good.
yeah.
How
so
long roughly
we've
could you say?
probably about 6 months, and
Okay.
I don't do much mentorship now. I don't have the bandwidth, the time.
Yeah.
But there was a time where I was doing more one-to-one calls and advice, but I don't have the time now.
It's very mentally draining as
It's-
well.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
Very, very taxing.
But he had a lot of key soft skills, and his background, he did what he had to do to survive.
like most.
But he actually managed to go on a course which I recommended, which was just a course on Coursera. I don't know if you know the platform. Yeah, and then did a few courses, and he had worked a job before, but there was a big gap in his CV. And then he managed to get an internship, and then eventually change his life around.
What a success story.
Yeah, and then he hasn't got a contract. He's a permanent member of staff.
Yeah.
But his long-term goal is to go and get a contract. Make good money per day, etc.
Oh,
so I genuinely feel like you can.
And how long would
there's a
you
lot
say
of
roughly
skills.
was his journey?
I would say probably about 9 months.
9
Of full
months.
Probably about 9
dedication.
months, yeah.
9 months
Yeah.
to turn it around.
9 months, yeah. But they say one good year can change your life.
Yeah, one
Well,
good year, exactly.
And you know what? It would, because as if someone's that's from the street, they can come and have a conversation, but not most people want to talk about, oh, well, this is what I've done in the past and this is what it's illegal, isn't it? So not most people want to sit down, but it would be good to have some more of these kind of success stories that are put out to the public, to the young males, to let them know there is another way. You don't
let them know
need
the art of the possible.
Yeah, you can transfer your
Sometimes they
skills.
can't see it.
You know, you can do something corporate. You can sit in those rooms.
Yeah, it's just,
Not even necessarily corporate, anything you want to do, really.
You don't know what you don't know, I didn't know about, for example, consulting until 2018. And I was in my career at that time for at least a solid 6 years. Didn't know it existed.
It was kind of gate kept a little
Exactly. And then if you're growing up, inner city London, you might not know someone. There's barriers to sort of careers. There's you don't know that certain things exist. So if you're not rubbing shoulders with the right people, you don't know it exists. You don't know what kind of careers are out there. So if you are only around a certain environment and you think, if I want to have this, I have to do this, then you're not even going to consider it. And then now
Yeah.
you have to then balance up, well, I'm already making good money doing this. This is going to take long.
I think that's a lot.
And that's for a lot of people. Like, they want things now.
It is.
But
Yeah,
it doesn't.
It is and it
life,
isn't.
life doesn't work like that. And
No.
even on the street, I know a variety of people, but it's only a small percentage of people who do things on the street make it. Very similar to the corporate world and business.
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
And sometimes when you look at the losses, you might as well just get a well-paid job.
The losses,
You
the
ain't got the risk.
consequences.
Yeah, it's all of this. But when you calculate your losses, it's actually just a good salary sometimes, and not even
Very
for some
true.
people. For some people out there, it's not even a good salary. It's not even minimum wage when you break it down.
No.
Like
Very hand to
realistically,
mouth sometimes.
especially depending on what you're doing and how often you're getting caught, arrested, losing things, all of this sort of
And
business.
it's quite saturated.
Spends that years that you're spending in jail, you're missing out on life.
Yeah.
Like literally. So if you were speaking to a room of young men, and they got a lot of street wisdom, and they had an interest in turning that into something academic, what would you say the first step should be? Like if they're like 1, 2, 3 steps, what would it be?
First and foremost, what I'd say is it doesn't have to be academic.
Anything.
You could go on TikTok Shop right now and go and start selling items. I came across someone selling stretch mark cream, and they made 6 figures doing that. Then there's a company that sells frogs to schools. So, all these things that you just think, what? Like they've got an e-commerce store selling frogs to school because they need it for the science experiments.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, you don't have to go corporate to make money.
Yeah.
You don't have to be, a TikTok shop owner to make money. You don't have to be a YouTuber or a streamer to make money. You don't have to be a project manager to make money. You don't have to have a software as a service tool like me to make money. There's so many different ways you can get to the end goal. And if it's money you're after, maybe a job is a really easy way to get paid. But in terms of like a framework, I think that's what you're asking for. Like 1, 2, 3. First, I would say go and research and find something that you're interested in. That would be my first thing. And the reason why I'd say first research before you think about problem and solution and pain points. Don't even go down there yet. But I would say first research and find, okay, what am I interested in? And I'm not saying that to be this, the typical person that says find your passion, because I don't agree with that. But I'd say you have to be interested in something because being a business owner or going in a career can be painful. Because you're investing hours maybe in a corporate world with people you don't really like, and you have to code switch. So that can be long and draining, and that's 40 hours. And if you start a business, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight. It might take 2, 3, chances are 10 years or 15, right? So you would have to research, number one. I know many founders, the founder, for example, of Parkopedia, he sold his business the other day. We had a chat, the 18 years. Right, he's a multimillionaire now, but it took him 18 years. Another founder I know, Sharon from Boardroom Insiders, sold a business 25 million. Took her 15 years. Wow. So research, number one, what am I interested in? Because it's gonna take time, right? Yes, there are numerous people on Instagram you'll see who have sold their business in 5 years, but that's not gonna happen to everyone, right?
No, exactly.
So research. Number 2, what I'd say is make sure that you've identified a clear problem and a pain point that you can solve. Then I would also then look at the demand as well. So combine problem, solution, and demand. Is there a big demand for this? And then start going through that whole SWOT analysis, which is quite important. So I know it's a lot of things in number 2, but these are all important.
So SWOT analysis.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's quite key in your research. And then number 3, get started and be consistent.
That's the hardest part, the consistency.
Yeah.
But the consistency is where greatness is made.
That's exactly it. That's why it's so hard.
Yeah. Consistency is key. You just the same way you're hustling and you're consistent with that hustling. Pressure. You're consistent with that change.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to. If you really, really want it.
If you want to.
So I've got one more.
Yeah.
If you had 5 minutes and you could master one skill without any lectures, what skill would it be?
Oh, good question. Any skill, I think right now it would be learning a variety of different like programming languages.
That sounds like a good one.
Yeah,
I think so.
That
Yeah,
is the best one we've
Yeah.
had,
Yeah.
actually.
it would be. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's vibe coding. You can
Mhm.
speak to platforms now and it can code things for you, but you're gonna always need a prompt engineer.
Yep.
You're always gonna need a software engineer
Yep.
to, validate
Feed it.
code and feed it
Yes.
information.
Yes.
And from a career perspective, and then also a network you can build with other coders who go off to do great things and build great businesses, you can just always make money. It's
100%.
it's a 6-figure career. If you don't want the career at Apple or Amazon or Google,
Yeah.
you can start a business.
Your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While or you could be a freelancer. There's so
Good
many
money as well.
options. So actually looking back, I think that is something
Me
I should
too.
have.
really
If
good
I had
one.
to go back to uni,
It would be programming.
that's what I'd be doing.
yeah.
You know what? A few
100%.
people said coding.
Yep. I'd do
What was
coding.
another good one that someone said?
100%
We
I
had
would
some
do
good
coding.
ones. Did you had some as well?
Yeah, I
didn't
had
you,
a
Vix?
few.
To be honest with you, even electricians make good money.
They make
Plasterers,
money. And
Plumbers,
gas
there's gas
engineers.
engineers.
Yeah.
So there's good technical skills out there that you will always need.
Proper.
But right now, I think over the next 5 years, if I could in 5 minutes go and learn a skill,
Yeah.
I'll be really good. The next
Yeah.
5 years,
Same.
I'll be able to like maximize that. But other skills like electricians, plumbing, gas engineer, these are all good skills.
Okay.
We had a few. Let me
Plastic
see
surgeons.
it. Oh God,
So-
you can make
so
some good
many
money on
skills.
that one.
Yes, I wouldn't mind being a surgeon.
Good. There's
true.
a lot of money to be made.
There's a lot of
I've got
money to be
loads
made.
here, look. Public speaking, problem solving. Yeah, there's so many. People really love those two questions there.
Yeah,
They
people.
really love those two.
Do you know? And
questions.
that's the whole idea of the Pinkprint is for thought-provoking conversations.
Mhm.
The whole idea is to make you start thinking, how can I grow up my education? What else can I do? Is there more for me? And there definitely is.
Yeah, there is, always.
And yeah, so thank you for joining us,
No worries.
Dominic.
Thanks for having me.
It's been really good,
It's
really
been good.
informative.
Yeah,
It's been
If
good.
you've got any
Nice.
last closing words for anybody who's watching that wants to transition, to transfer, to educate,
To pivot.
to pivot.
To pivot, I would say one, trust the process. That's the first thing. Believe in yourself. Get started and go for it. If you need career support, career guidance, check out the Career Guard on Instagram. It's a platform that we built to help people from a career perspective. So we regularly feature information on top paying skills.
Mhm.
We share information about our career insight days, virtual or in person. I think you've actually been to one of our
I've been
events.
to they're
in
really
virtual.
good, and some of the workshops as well.
Exactly.
Really good workshops.
And but just get started and trust the process.
Fantastic.
That's what I'd say.
Do you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
you're doing some fantastic work on TikTok, dropping some gems, really helping
thank
some
you, yeah.
people.
So ambitious Dom on Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, that's
Thank you,
to find me. Yeah, it's the easiest way.
Amazing.
Cool.
Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Guys,
Thank
don't
you,
forget
thank
to
you.
like, share, subscribe, follow us, listen to us on Spotify as well.
Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us, guys, and we'll see you for the next one.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Bye.